What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show, the only show on the internet, the only one. We are your hosts, Chase and Myles, and we are at the Lucky Duck.
I don't know if it's true.
We have to fact check that later after the show. We'll fact check it next time. But we are the only show that matters.
You know, some people can lie and everyone will believe them.
Yeah.
Like me.
Do you lie?
I have been lying on this podcast from day one.
Are you saying those farmer only ads were fake?
My legal team has told me that I have to say yes.
I got to say all the 5G things I've said, not lies, all truths. All truths.
All the stuff I said about COVID, I'm not a medical professional. Go to your doctor.
Mm-hmm. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast for advice on anything, you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You should probably be watching like Fox News or CNN.
Yep. MSNBC, Newsmax, great source.
None of those guys lie ever.
OAN, BBC, the news channel BBC, not the other BBC.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but if you want to tell the viewers, then go ahead. PBS.
Ooh, PBS. NPR.
It's not just Sesame Street.
The State Propaganda Network of China. Actually, can I just say that I'm good with China.
You're good with China? What does that mean?
I'm good with that.
Good with what?
Them. I'm good with them.
Okay.
No arguments coming my way about China.
About China? Like,
everything.
If somebody said, "Do you love China?" you would answer?
I would say yes. In a neutral tone. I would be like, yes. Like monotone.
Neutral? Why neutral?
Like there was no inflection on his answer, but it was yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, right. Do you love the Chinese child labor?
Well, I don't want to get into specifics about what I love about China.
Right.
But I will say the food, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And also the people, amazing people. Hardworking people.
First, let's just back up there a second. Have you been to China?
I feel like I have been there in spirit.
But have you been physically?
Physically, I have been to New York's Chinatown, so I feel like that's just as good, if not better.
Do you know any Chinese people personally?
I do. I actually have quite a few associates that I align with.
Yeah.
I don't personally know them or have met them, but I do align with them.
Right, but you don't know them personally.
Personally, I would say, what's personally? Is it like I've heard them speak? I have watched videos of them.
You know them on a friend level.
I would say may or may not be a one-way friendship.
Right.
It could be just me liking them and me calling them friends.
Okay.
I think that's probably good enough. You know, like what's reality?
No, I was just curious because you were like, "Oh, Chinese food is the best. It's A+.
It's chef's kiss," is what I said.
Michelin star.
Let's be honest. I don't want stop putting words in my mouth.
That's pretty much what you said, and it seems to me like you've never even had real Chinese food. I haven't either, but I'm just saying.
Listen.
Seems like you haven't.
I have graduated. You start with Panda Express, and you eat there, and you're like, interesting.
Yes.
I think they're on to
something.
something.
Fried chicken, noodles,
orange chicken,
rice.
Yep.
Edamame.
They got teriyaki sauce.
Right.
They got, not to confuse with Japanese yum yum sauce. Okay. Very different. Both good.
Different cultures, different countries.
Yeah.
Different
Japanese
places.
people. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I had like a plan in the future to go to Japan and I was saying, Japan's okay. I kind of hate the place.
I didn't say that.
The people
I said
annoy me.
Okay, which can be interpreted a couple different ways. One could say okay means they're great people.
Yeah.
And respectable, honorable people.
Right.
And they're okay.
So what brings on this I love China, China's my best friend feeling? Is it have anything to do with TikTok?
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that TikTok's under scrutiny by Congress at the moment.
Because I think you would agree that while you may not agree we should ban TikTok, I think you would agree that it would be a good thing for society if we banned TikTok. Right?
What I'm saying is, if TikTok takes this as a hostile move and decides to leak certain information about people online, very popular podcast people,
Yeah.
that I align with you, China. I have nothing wrong to say about. I have nothing bad to say about you. It's good. I'm good
Have
on
you
China.
been sending messages to
good.
underage girls again?
I have not been doing that. Honestly, listen.
Through our TikTok account?
TikTok, I'm a big fan of TikTok.
Guys, if you get a message from Chase and it's really weird from our TikTok account and it's really weird, just ignore it. It's
Listen,
Chase.
During the pandemic, when we were trying to get people to get the vaccine, to do their part, right? Remember, do your part.
Yeah, do your part.
It was TikTok being the biggest proponent for, and I think the Chinese government handled COVID perfectly. In fact, I think they should still be shutting everything down in China and to stop the spread because it's killing people. So
Is it?
well.
Because I haven't seen any news about it killing people.
All right,
lately.
if you go on TikTok and look up "Is COVID killing people?" there's a couple of videos that are pretty persuasive.
Have you actually seen anyone die?
I
Have you seen any dead bodies?
I have heard on
But
TikTok.
have you seen any dead bodies?
I have not. I have not seen a dead body. No.
Okay.
No. Because I don't think they're actually. Well, okay. Let me just back up for a second. I think China is doing such a good job at the COVID thing that there's nobody dying because of that. So where would there be dead bodies to show?
Well, they're not doing the lockdowns anymore.
Well, okay. Well,
Right.
I mean,
And they kind of started it. That's how we knew people were dying, right?
we can't say they started it because that may or may not be true. We don't know.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
it
I don't
could-
know.
it
The
could
energy
come-
department told me that it's true.
It could come from a lab in France. I'm just saying.
A lab in France.
Well, a lab
Is that
in
what
Ukraine.
you're saying?
Well, it could be a lab in Ukraine.
Oh, you're saying so. So now you're saying that Ukraine started the pandemic.
I didn't say that. I said maybe that there could be possibly a lab leak somewhere not in China. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but where's this theory coming from? What
TikTok.
is data backing it up?
I saw it on TikTok.
You saw it on TikTok,
I saw it on TikTok.
that it might have been leaked from Ukraine.
Was it we should look into that.
What was
we don't
the name
know.
of the TikTok account?
Well, it's CCP some underscore 69420.
Okay, obviously this is a teenager.
Well, we don't know that. It could
Okay.
be the head of the Chinese government, or it could be a teenager. It could be a scientist at the Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
The great people, the smart, very secure lab in Wuhan.
Did you know? Did you know that China is allies with Russia, who's at war with Ukraine?
Yeah. Right. What are we saying?
So is this about placing the blame off of China, or is it about placing the blame on Ukraine?
Well, first off, I don't align with Russia because, and hear me out,
Not because of the Ukraine war.
mostly because they banned TikTok. Okay, mostly because they banned
They banned
TikTok.
TikTok?
I think so.
And China's just cool with it. They're like, hey, friends.
Are they saying that? I don't know.
Oh, I mean,
because
they
I haven't
made out.
seen it on
I saw,
TikTok. It
I saw
probably
the
hasn't
two
happened.
leaders make out. It may have been on TikTok.
Well, it could be. It's probably Instagram, some propaganda.
No, I wouldn't-
Facebook steals a lot of your data.
I
and
wouldn't
does
say
a lot
Instagram.
of crazy things.
It's a pretty good platform.
I think Zuck needs to go back in front of Congress. I don't know why they're asking TikTok to come and talk in front of the House and answer all these ridiculous questions.
Because they've asked Zuck so many times. It's like beating a dead horse.
he probably has a badge now. Like he can just walk in and out
no doubt.
freely.
No
and
doubt.
we need you to come in for a quick Tuesday thing.
Yeah, he goes in, they're like, can you figure out how to get our computer working? And then he turns it off, turns it back on. He's like, good. And they're like, good. And then he leaves. usually what's
the old
happening.
IT troubleshoot.
Well, I mean, most of
IT
those guys are
troubleshoot.
what, like 70, 80 years old?
They honestly don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah. You just tune in for like 2 seconds and you're like, oh, these guys are dumbasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I've heard of this new thing called the internet.
Yeah.
And you're like,
do you know
it's not
it's
new.
all connected via wires? It's crazy.
Yeah. He's like, I've heard that they're starting to use satellites.
Yeah. yeah. And then something about 5G. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, do you know what this 5G thing, you can get a vaccine from it?
Yeah, you can get the vaccine just by being near a phone that has 5G.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what are we drinking?
This is a coconut margarita.
It doesn't look like it.
It's
Cheers,
a
buddy.
Lucine something.
Yeah. It
Martini.
is. It is a Lucien Garden. Like Garden Leviosa. Yum, 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 yum.
It tastes like Campari
You'd be correct
in
if
Contro.
you guessed that's what it was. So this particular drink is named after the early 20th century French Olympic fencer, and it's kind of a spin-off of Negroni. It's combining gin, Campari, Contro, dry vermouth, and you garnish it with a little orange peel.
I have to say that this drink, it would be perfect in a kind of speakeasy vibe kind of bar. Doesn't have to be a speakeasy, but you know that kind of vibe I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or if you're in like a library,
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, it does have pre-prohibition vibes for sure. You know,
It's good.
yeah, it's pretty good. Nice. And you too can. Everybody here, or everybody listening, can make this at home. And if you want the recipe, Instagram, baby.
Because
Instagram.
it's better than TikTok.
Better than TikTok.
Yeah, go on there because you can post photos. That's why.
It's great. Photos, videos.
You can't post single photos on TikTok. You can only do slideshows.
Yeah. It's weird. I deleted TikTok. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I am a double agent.
All right, did you guys hear that? He deleted it.
I deleted it.
Oh, wait. I heard when you delete it and ban it, then China likes you more.
Yeah, they TikTok. Yeah. Well, has Russia actually? You should look this up. What kind of? Because they banned like Facebook too, right? I wonder if they have their own social media. The Soviet Instagram.
Did Russia ban TikTok after they invaded Ukraine, or I'm sorry,
yeah, because
Facebook?
I think what was happening is a lot of like pro-Ukraine war content was being spread, and Russia wants to keep a tight lid on that. Maybe they didn't ban it.
I think it might have been that TikTok was banning foreign content in Russia.
Okay.
So
yeah.
they were only letting Russians
Russia.
see Russian content.
And obviously China content. Let's be honest. But
Yeah, so a lot of Russians were using VPNs to access non-Russian TikTok content. That's
sussy.
kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Don't hack me.
I wonder if Russia had made that plea with Facebook before they just outright banned them. They were just like, Zuck, listen, Zucky.
So did Russia ban Facebook, or did Facebook ban Russia?
No, I think Russia banned Facebook
And why was that?
because of the pro-Ukrainian content. Yeah, and they're a U.S. company.
That's right.
Now we're adversaries.
So
Well, have been.
Russia officially banned Facebook and Instagram under their extremism law.
Extremism law. Now tell me more about that.
So apparently they restricted it because they were relaxing their policies on hate speech towards Russian soldiers and Vladimir Putin in relation to the war. So if people were posting things like F you Russian soldiers and
Putin's gay.
supposedly maybe that wasn't okay before,
Mm-hmm.
which seems odd. I don't know why you couldn't say that about anyone.
Well, you live in America where something like that is you can't get in trouble for. Supposedly,
right.
The populace can cancel you, but
I see.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. So that makes sense.
yeah.
So they said that Facebook and Instagram were carrying out extremist activities.
That checks out.
Yeah, I mean, don't the social media platforms have to ban accounts from ISIS and shit?
Well, I think if they deem it to be ISIS content,
Right.
it could.
So this is kind of like what Russia is comparing
doing,
it to. They're
yeah.
saying like it's extremist content. Essentially, the next step would be like terrorism, I think. Is there?
Gotcha. Are you sticking up for Russia, Miles? Are you saying that they're just doing their thing and that they have the right to do that?
I just think that this is really funny, something I read. So Russia previously targeted the Taliban and the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, they're on the same level. Those goddamn fucker. There's
Like, they keep coming to my house.
They keep coming to my house, terrorizing me.
And they don't believe in any holidays, which is like, who wouldn't believe in a holiday? Obviously a terrorist.
Yeah, obviously a terrorist. They're like, Vladimir's like, I love birthdays. I love celebrating my birthday.
I think it's because they called him gay.
The Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I doubt that.
I'm not gay.
Yeah. They're like, no, I think
They're
you're
like, you are gay.
You are gay. Yeah, I get it. Listen.
Do you get it?
I get why he's so sensitive about the issue.
Why?
Well,
Because it's illegal to be gay in Russia, right? Isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. Is it
Illegal? What does it even mean to be gay in
Yeah.
Russia? They
Is
just
it
go around
illegal?
there like, you're gay, under arrest.
Yeah, under arrest. Accidentally kiss a guy, straight to jail.
Accidentally.
The whole Jeffrey Dahmer we're just doing some gay stuff in here, man, would send you straight to jail.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a list, the official Wikipedia article on LGBT rights in Russia.
Okay.
Which I just want to point out that LGBT is not inclusive of all the other.
Yeah, you had
things.
the Q plus.
I don't know.
Stuff?
There's a lot of other ones, I think.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Anyway, supposedly when the new Communist Party came in, I assume, I didn't read the whole article, but I'm thinking that means after the collapse of the Soviet Union, right?
Yeah.
They removed the old laws regarding sexual relations, effectively legalizing homosexual and transgender activity within Russia, although it remained illegal in other territories of the Soviet Union. Okay, so maybe they're talking about a new Communist Party of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
But homosexuals in Russia were still persecuted and sacked from their jobs. So I think it may not be illegal, but it's seen as a bad thing culturally, I think. So I think that like you could get fired and stuff.
It's like
whereas in
it's
the
like
US, we're not allowed to say that word when we talk about Florida.
Yeah.
We might get fined, I think.
Don DeSanto might come after us.
Yeah, I think was that you can't talk. The teacher can't talk to a kid about being gay, right? Or
Yeah, I think
transgender
it's
or
like
something.
the sexual orientations can't.
Is that the same
be
if I went
discussed.
to my teacher and I was like, I feel like a boy, but people call me a girl? The teacher would just be like, shut the fuck up and go sit down.
Yeah, yeah, basically. I guess it could go the other way, right? Like either way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was kind of like in one of the states, I can't remember which it was, there was a woman who, I don't know what she was, but she brought up a bill, and it was like people can't talk about, or I think it was like you can't talk about I don't know, I can't think of it now, but it was like gender identity or like getting married or something. I can't remember what it was, but it essentially applied to both sides of it, and he was like, so people can't talk about this, right? I wish I could remember the example. It'd be so much better. But she was like, no, that's fine. And he was like, well, why can't people talk about the other thing then, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, well, we just need to refine the bill, basically. Like
to align with the Christian Orthodox.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what she was like essentially saying that, but couldn't, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's the strange thing is I don't know what Ron DeSantis is he like I'm assuming he's like Christian or Baptist or something.
I would think so.
A lot of that stuff drives I'm sure his decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first I just Googled is Ron DeSantis, and the first question was a drag queen, which really confuses me. Google, are you fucking with him?
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually Duck Duck. And then the next one is Ron DeSantis' wife Mexican? And then a good leader, a fraud, a member of the KKK.
Who is actually Googling these things to make it a popular search item? Like, you know, like it should be, is Ron DeSantis the governor of Florida? Like that should be like the top question. Or like, you know, weird. That's super weird.
I can't find anything that says if he's religious or whatever, but I think it's the same as a lot of the Republican politicians is they're not actually religious. Or they may
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He may claim that he's Christian.
Right.
He may go to the church
He may
when he's elected.
He may hold
or hold the Bible.
a Bible and walk across the street for a photo op.
Right.
but
but he's actually like the Antichrist.
Right.
Like he's the direct. He stands for everything that Christians don't.
Yeah, exactly. He aligns himself with people of the Christian Orthodox, but completely goes against everything they believe in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like cheating on his wife.
Yeah. Or thou shalt not lie.
Right.
You know, I should have no other God, you know, than the Christian God.
Right.
I'm sure he views money as a form of God, a spirituality.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you're saying that his God is money?
Is God? Well, he could be his own God too, right?
I have sometimes thought that maybe he's better than God, based on some of the things he said.
Oh, explain.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did once say that I am better than God. So there's that.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. The fact that he has said "I am God" really puts a nail in the whole. Like, does he have a?
I doubt he's actually said that. I feel like he'd probably piss people off, but
he said a lot of stuff. Even if you ask, if you would ask him, have you ever said this? And he probably wouldn't remember. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
He's pretty much an idiot.
Yeah.
But he's the biggest idiot genius.
He's a fraudster. He's a con man. He's all of the above.
He's like the biggest con man.
He might just be perfect to be a president.
He
I
is.
hate to say that, but yeah, it's like pretty representative of like America as a whole at the current moment.
I think if you look at how the gaming industry in Hollywood portrays a president, an American president, movies and games and shit, he is pretty much exactly what you would expect. Yeah. Corrupt, like a liar, typical political,
white.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's also unfortunately like the perfect villain character.
Yeah,
you know,
which is always who the president is. Yeah. They're always like they're either saving the world because it's like an action movie or something, or he's a piece of shit villain.
Yeah. Which is why I hope that Ron DeSantis ends up running for president, if only for the reason of booting him out.
Yeah.
Of the way.
Have you seen that they've been fighting
Yeah,
They hate each other.
Well, yeah.
And he calls him Ron DeSanctimonious or DeSanctimonious or something like that.
Yeah.
And somebody, what's his name? I forget the guy's name. Piers Morgan,
Yeah.
I think, asked him like, I think it was him, but he asked him asked DeSantis. He did an interview with DeSantis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I don't think it's come out, but some clips came out.
Okay.
And
great.
he asked him which of his nicknames he likes, DeSantimonious or whatever it is.
Okay.
Or what's the meatball one? I forget what exactly he says, right?
I don't know either. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically he calls him like Ron the meatball or something.
Yeah, okay.
And he was basically like, I don't really know what DeSanctimonious means, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, okay. Huh,
And
interesting.
he's like, he can call me names as long as he calls me a winner, which was so cheesy.
Yeah, it is.
But
that is cheesy.
they keep going back and forth. Like all the Republicans have been defending Trump after Trump declared that he would be arrested.
Well,
even
not
though he
all
wasn't.
of them, but a few. There's been a few.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, all the ones that have voices on the internet that people listen to.
The people that are the loudest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which are the ones who the common man would see and think, oh, I should follow what they're saying, right?
Well,
it doesn't matter what my values are. I'm just going to think what they think.
I don't necessarily believe that. I think that's the impression because that's what the news latches onto, because they are the loudest and they will get the most reaction out of people.
Right.
And I think that's what's to somebody like CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, those are the clips. Those are the sound bites that you want because it'll, like I saw on Reddit, for instance, an article, I think it was from like Bloomberg or not Bloomberg, Business Insider, the one that loves to just completely cause chaos. And they were like, what happens when Donald Trump doesn't turn himself in? And I'm like, are you fucking serious? He hasn't even been arrested yet.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't even been a warrant issued.
Hey, he conned everyone into thinking he'd get arrested.
Like,
it's just another con.
Like, what are we doing here? But those are the type of articles that sell. Just like the ones where Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, ranting about, Christian nationalism or whatever. Like those,
right.
Like she's like, as much as people want to believe that that's like the voice of Republicans, it really isn't. It's just a loud fucking nagging voice at the back of the room. Like where the fuck is she from? The northeast west corner of Georgia, the rural county of Georgia, where nobody fucking lives.
Yeah.
But apparently, somehow she has all this weight because she likes to scream nonsense into the void, and it's captured on camera.
Well, she did have weight because the current speaker of the House wouldn't have been elected Speaker of the House without her.
Well, that's how fucking government works.
Right. So she was able to say all those things, and then she got the Speaker of the House to make certain promises.
Yeah.
Based on what her constituents want and the things that she's saying, right?
Her constituents, the two people that live in the corner of Georgia.
So she does have
Good
weight,
for you.
right?
Yeah.
But it's the same amount of weight as every other representative in Georgia.
And that's like, I guess, boom, democracy.
Yeah, which is great. But when you have the Speaker of the House defending Trump, like it's the same. It's like
well, he was a Trumper to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's not a Trumper.
I thought he was.
No, so I think he secretly fucking hates Trump.
So does everybody,
but Trump,
except for the QAnon people, like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. You're saying she likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like buddies, I think.
Yeah, they're buddies.
I'm pretty sure they're having an affair, but no one's talked
she
about it for
stroked
some
him.
reason.
She stroked him a few times, physically and mentally.
Yeah. So I think that it's like, it is the media going off about when those people are saying things and there's really no weight to it.
Yeah.
But when you have someone who's at I would argue, second highest level of power in your party at the moment, or highest level of power in your party.
The Speaker of the House?
Right. Then like that's what you're going to, that's like the opinion of the Republican Party, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I guess so. I mean, let's look at it from the other perspective. Was Nancy Pelosi the like the opinion of the Democrat? Was she the voice of the Democrats? Like,
Yeah, I think so. Because what like as the Speaker of the House or as the minority leader or whatever, where it doesn't matter if you're in the Senate, House, whatever, you're working with the rest of the people in your party to come up with like a common explanation or when you're going to vote for something, like you're working to get everyone to vote for a certain way. And so, they can just say random things. And if that happens and then you have tons of Democrats or tons of Republicans saying, whoa, what the fuck, right? That's not what we believe. Then we'll see that. But we haven't really seen that much.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also wonder, like, does he have to hold up to those promises? If she was like, I got demands.
Yeah. So
and he was like, fine. And then they voted him in. How long is his tenure good for? And is there like a possibility for a no confidence vote? If like he basically just goes, yeah, thanks for the vote, but also like, fuck you.
Yeah. So I think that is it every 2 years or is it every 4 years that they get the new speaker?
I don't know.
I can't remember if it's every term, but he can keep becoming speaker, right?
Yeah, indefinitely.
And so that's his plan is to, as long as the Republicans stay in power, or if they lose power and then come back into power, he'll become the speaker again.
Yeah.
And so he'll keep the promises, which I don't know how he's going to. It seems impossible because one of his promises he's gonna cut the deficit, right?
Oh, yeah, good luck.
Right,
yeah.
Which is impossible.
Yeah,
because
especially now
they've already said that they won't cut Social Security, Medicare, or the military budget.
Yeah,
and I saw on TikTok, if you don't cut any of those, then you have to cut the rest of the government.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So
it's like those are the big items.
Yeah, they take up most of the budget.
Yeah.
So anyway. Back to Ron.
Ronnie boy.
Also
Ronald.
defended Trump, as in said like that the DA is politically motivated, blah blah blah.
Sure.
But he was like, I don't know. He started out by saying, I don't know anything about paying hush money to a porn star, and then said something about the thing.
Yeah. Good on you, Ronald.
Which is so funny.
Good on you, buddy. I don't agree with a lot that Mr. DeSanto has to say, or his political leanings,
I think we're calling
or whatever.
DeSoto.
DeSoto, yeah. Sorry, DeSoto.
Because it's a town in.
Yeah, it is.
Or is it county?
I think both, maybe.
Maybe both. In Florida.
Yeah, but I will take him over Trump any fucking day.
Oh, totally.
And I'm so bewildered by all the hit pieces that come out about him, where they're like, if he becomes president, it's like the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, take it one step at a time. You got to get rid of Orange Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the agenda should be get rid of Orange Boy, pave way for DeSoto to get in, and then attack him. Like,
well, I think...
right? Am I wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally right. And I go back and forth on this. I'm like, okay. On one hand, if you think about all the media trying to trash him, trying to make him look bad, right? It's like, do you want him to look worse than Trump? But on the other hand, they're making so much noise about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like putting him they're making him look really good to the more extreme Republican side. You know what I mean? The people who would be like very...
like are you talking about his like stance on like anti-woke or like woke,
yeah, all those things. So they're really focusing on that, being like, oh, the liberal, they're making him seem like he's going to war with everyone who's not a Republican.
Yeah, which is what Trump. That's the platform that Trump ran on, right?
That is the platform that Trump ran on. I don't think it's the platform that Ron DeSantis is running on.
Yeah.
I think he's just doing things that he thinks are like people want, right? But I think that Trump did things that he wanted. Like I think that's the difference.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point to bring up. Is there is a perspective at the moment that Ron DeSoto is is creating policy and driving government based on the what he thinks is good for his constituents, and then on the other hand, Donald Trump is doing whatever's best for Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah. And if you don't see that, good people of the internet, then please do your own research. Please. Because it's so glaringly obvious. I can't understand anybody who has a differing opinion from that. But yeah, that's just the way. I mean, at the current moment, at the very least, I mean, until something completely bombshell comes out, but I don't imagine it could.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like Trump can't become president again.
Yeah,
it would probably be the worst presidential term in history.
Yeah.
Like worse than his first one.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like policies passing that I may not agree with or that other people may or may not agree with. I'm just talking about of him getting anything done.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to be targeting people.
Yes.
He's going to be making America look bad again.
Yeah. It's going to be a I was wronged and I'm about to rain hellfire on all of my enemies, and now that I have power again, and we just don't have any fucking time for that bullshit.
Right. You need to use your power to better America, not yourself.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah.
Regardless
That's
of
well said.
what policies you're passing, if they're Republican or Democratic, it doesn't matter. Like you can still make America better in one way or in one direction or the other. Mm-hmm. When it's worse is when you're self-serving, I think. And that's all you're focused on. You're making decision based on how it will affect someone else and not if it's the right decision.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just been so glaringly obvious that that's the case. I mean, it's in the last couple of weeks, it's been entertaining to say the least. I don't think anybody actually believed that he was going to get arrested, but it was kind of fun.
I took the day off just to watch.
It was kind of fun just to think about the possibility that he would get arrested.
Like the AI generation. Did you see all those?
No. Oh yeah.
Actually, supposedly, this is what people say. They ask the AI to like, what do you think of what's going to happen today? It was like a today thing.
Okay.
I can't remember. It had generated some different images. I can't remember what the others. Oh, it was Macron of France.
Okay. Yes. Right.
Him, because they're having like protests.
Yeah,
and
he
stuff
recently had basically overridden the ruling of whether or not they were going to up the age of retirement for the entire country.
Yeah. So people are really angry. So it was like him surrounded by a bunch of protesters, and then it was Donald Trump like getting arrested.
Yeah.
And kind of like surrounded by cops and stuff.
That's hilarious. It would never happen that way. I mean, like people had such a false understanding of like exactly how it would go down.
Yeah.
Like there's no like carrying out in handcuffs. There's no like SWAT teams
no perp walk.
like just like bumping or ramming the door in with a ram,
like he's gonna run or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's like literally they're just gonna serve papers. They're gonna request him to basically be arraigned, and he's gonna have to show up on a date and sign some papers, and they're gonna
fingerprint him.
Yeah, fingerprint him, put him in the system, and then quote unquote process him, and then turn him back over.
Yeah, and
that's all there is. It's not like he murdered somebody. Like it's not going to be this big fucking deal where he's a flight risk.
Well, also, being arrested almost means nothing. It's just kind of like they're collecting information about you, and if they think you did something violent, they'll keep you in jail.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll release you on bond.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't mean he's guilty.
No, it doesn't. No,
like 0% that he's guilty. Yeah. It just means that the attorney DA thinks he's guilty, and they think they can prove that he's guilty.
Right. That's the key. What you just said is they think that they can prove that he's guilty. That means they have enough evidence to support and convince a jury.
Right.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's going to happen. I honestly don't even care because it won't. I don't think it's going to really affect the outcome of
if-
like the next couple years.
Right, but if he's charged with the crime, then he can't be president, right? Isn't that a thing?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's what people have said.
We're not legal experts here, and we also I know like a very little about what qualifies you to be a president. I thought you had to be like an upstanding person, but apparently you don't.
I thought you weren't allowed to do cocaine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Obama said he did. Remember that?
I think he said he did a bunch of drugs, right?
Well, he's like, I did a smidge of coke.
Oh,
like,
did
he basically like he was like, yeah.
You said it after he was
once-
president?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It's
when
something. Not something you say when
That-
you're
that-
running.
So this is what's crazy. It's like, if you want to do something high level for the government, something secret for the government, you go through all this process. They look at your background, every place you've lived, all the people you've been friends with, all the people you grew up with, where you live now, the different patterns that you do,
Right.
whether you take the same road home every day, they give you a polygraph, all these things.
Yeah.
If you can get elected president, you skip all that. You could be Vladimir Putin somehow became Donald Trump, gets elected, you're president, you skip all that, and you can do whatever the fuck you want until Congress impeaches you and determines that you were Vladimir Putin in disguise.
Yeah, the sad thing is, if you were Vladimir Putin in disguise and you belong to one party over the other, that even though you got impeached, doesn't mean you're going to be removed from office.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's either party, they're going to be like, no, party over America.
Yes, party over America. And that's been America for the last 30 years. Party over America, which is really sad. I think that's the one thing we can take away from this.
This past couple of years, it has become person over party.
Ooh.
Person over America, person over party.
You mean that Trump had all this money to basically campaign and push agendas of his like so-called followers in the midterm elections, and he didn't, and then they all lost basically, and so now,
But somehow people still like him. They're like, he's still good for the party.
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't
Like, who is he
understand
going
it.
to hurt at this point? Why don't they all just agree, hey, secret meeting, Donald Trump? Yes. Okay. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
Because I think they're coming out of the 2016 election
But what are they going to lose?
and voters.
They're not. The Trump voters are going to vote Republican, regardless of
I know
whether it's
that's
Trump.
what they need to understand is, and I don't.
They're not going to be like, oh, I'm so angry.
So
and vote
when
Democrat.
do you think Ron DeSoto announces? I was hoping that in the event that Trump got arrested, Ron would just be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm running
He'd
for
be
president."
there.
Yeah,
Like NBC's like filming. They're like, look, and there's Trump coming down his escalator,
Yeah.
getting his handcuffs on, and Ron's just like in the background.
yeah. I heard that Trump requested that if he was gonna get arrested, that he be handcuffed.
Yeah.
What a great photo op that would be, right?
Yeah, for
What a
sure.
great-
I
and
did
the-
hear that too. I don't know if it was true. or
I don't
not.
know if it was true either, because a lot of what's going on is just a bunch of fucking nonsense.
A lot of what you would think would be on, like, I think that was during the election, and then during the riots and on the riot on January 6th.
Yeah.
It was like the news was like, sources have told us.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Sources close to Donald Trump have told us.
Yeah.
And you're like-
undisclosed documents.
Yeah.
Have revealed. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Well, it's like we got all those fucking text messages from Tucker Carlson about
yeah.
like, I hate this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And fuck Donald Trump. What it basically, like, you can summarize that.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't like the guy. It's like, and then he's, this past week, there's an article going, oh, I love Donald Trump.
Right.
And you're like,
He had a
okay.
call with him. They settled things.
Yeah, he's like, Tucky, I'll take
So
you
disappointed.
golfing. Yeah, it's all just a fucking entertainment. It's entertainment. That politics has become entertainment. We've replaced movies and television and cable TV with fucking a shit show of politics. It's like the Truman Show, but pointed at the White House, and it's fucking stupid. I mean, that's basically what 2016 to 2020 was just the constant live feed of just, I can't believe this is happening, but it's happening, and everybody was glued to the TV. And then when Sleepy Biden got elected, they were like, this ain't entertaining anymore, because it's just business as usual, Democrats being Democrats, and that's not exciting. That's just kind of boring. Like, what are we gonna do? And then ratings dropped, and then this, that, and the other. And
but I find interesting when Biden does something that the liberals don't agree with, they call him out on it, like in the news. I've seen it. So he just signed something. What was it? I can't remember what it was, but he just signed something that was kind of like more of what like a Republican would do. And who was it? NBC, I want to say, came out with this article that was like, Biden just like signed the death certificate of the middle class or something like that.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
And it, like, for what it took Fox News to finally say something bad about Trump was his supporters storming the Capitol.
Yeah, it's so weird. They would do, like, the politicians do this thing where they like float an idea out and see how the press. This used to be the thing, in my opinion, where
they'd leak something.
They would leak something. They would have like a staffer go to CNN or somebody from the communications department go out and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this, like Obama's thinking about, or like Bush is thinking about signing this document. And then they'd write all these articles based on their opinion about it, and then they would be like, actually, after the fact, based on what they've seen and the reaction, they'd be like, actually, we're going to do this to basically appease public opinion.
Yeah.
And now I don't even think that's a thing anymore after Trump, because Trump was just like, I'm going to do this, deal with it.
And people loved it.
And yeah, because it was contrarian. It was like, we're sick of all this bullshit in Washington. But then at the end of his term, it was concluded. We basically concluded that he just did the same thing.
Right.
Like it wasn't for the people, by the people. It was just like for Trump, for the party, and love or hate his policy or what he did. It's become evident, especially post-election, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you have Tucker saying that his presidency was like bullshit, basically, and that he didn't do anything good.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, it says a lot about the network itself. I mean, if you're tuning into any of these shows and can't recognize the narrative, or can't
even our show.
Yeah. I have a narrative, folks. I'm trying to get you.
Sell you alcohol.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to drink these lovely drinks. No, it's entertainment and whatever. Those people are captured by an audience, and I will say that's like the difference between somebody like our show versus like besides the viewership, is like we're not captured. We basically say whatever we want.
Yeah.
And like we're not doing it to like because we know our audience.
Except TikTok and China.
Let's
Instagram.
not. I mean, come on. I was a double agent in the beginning of the show.
All right.
Now I'm coming out and telling you the truth.
Okay. So China's bad.
China's okay.
Okay. Right.
And Japan is a good.
Here to hear, folks.
Yep. China, bad. Good.
No,
Okay.
you said okay.
He's okay.
He's okay. He?
Well, let's be
Did you
honest.
just assume it's gender?
Let's be honest. Yeah, I did.
I heard that Casa Bonita's water fountain has been turned back on.
Ooh.
It's opening up soon.
That's pretty great. They had started hiring a couple months ago.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You took a job?
I was considering it.
You're going to be the diver?
Well, it's waterworks, you know. How do they advertise it? I can't remember. I think it was like something to do with like water, but they didn't say it was like a specifically diver, you know. But we're like, yeah, we all know what it was. But they were like posting that job for like $12 an hour, which I thought was weird because I
What?
think Denver's minimum wage is like 15 right now,
That is weird.
$16. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm fucking stoked to go to Casa Bonita. You and I have been.
Can we make a reservation? Like, how do we get?
No, you
I wanna
have to
go
stay in the
first
line.
Day.
Oh my god, it's gonna be mayhem, man. You're gonna. I know the chef
Listen,
that's running
I
the restaurant portion of
stood in
it.
line all night long to get a PlayStation 4.
Listen, I wonder. I'm actually curious. Maybe they're gonna do a friends and family like soft opening. That's typically what restaurants
So
do.
since you know the chef,
yeah, I might be able to get us in, dude. I'm not even joking.
all right.
Yeah. Like when a restaurant opens, they do like 1 or 2 nights of like friends and family. It's basically a soft opening. It's like
They try
it's
stuff
our
out.
it's a dry run of the service. You know, we're just figuring things out. Typically, you have like 2 weeks of training. So you're doing your thing. You have everybody hired. You're training them for 2 weeks. You're doing recipes and you're cooking things and you're serving things and you're getting everything all ready. And then 1 or 2 nights of family and friends. So you're serving everybody, like the community, everybody that's involved with like, the ownership group or whoever's involved. And then you have your hard opening, which is like your grand opening to the public.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's going to operate in the same way as it used to, which is you line up. It's like an amusement park lineup. So
The line is
snake.
huge.
It's so fucking long. And I can tell you, I don't understand how they were like struggling and going out of business, because every time I would go, the line was like at the door. You open the door, there's the line. And it takes like 2 hours from the door to get all the way to the front of the line. And you get your food and then you sit down and you're waited on after that. But what a gem of a place. It was weird. I was talking to somebody who had lived here for a while, and they were explaining to me like back in the Dizzy, before Denver had its like renaissance, basically is like the top 10 things was like the Denver Mint, the Denver Zoo, Casa Bonita. And it was like, and then I talked to another person who's lived here since like the 70s, and he was like, yeah, everybody who comes to visit me, like I have to take them to Casa Bonita because of how ridiculous and like unique it is. And it's just like there's nothing like it like in the United States, like outside of like an amusement park,
I know of Casa Bonita because of South Park. So if anyone who's listening has no idea what we're talking about, South Park made a hilarious episode where Cartman, one of the main kids, is basically in love with Casa Bonita and like all the things he can do there. And he ends up getting in trouble and like going and doing all the things that he can do there. But anyway, so as a South Park fan, I had always wanted to see it. And so one time when I had visited Chase, we went and had gone to it. But I feel like if you were someone who's been here since the 70s, you don't know it from South Park. You just know it because it's that weird ass Casa Bonita place in Denver.
Yeah, it's like in a strip mall. There's like a 99-cent store next to it and like a beauty salon on the other side. It's so strange, but
I wonder what the idea, how it came to be.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a whole Wikipedia. If you guys are interested, you should definitely read up on it. But it's like an amusement park dining experience. I mean, and I think that was just like the owner's like intent from the very beginning. And it's so strange. They have this. It's just like you couldn't make this shit up. Like this. They have like swimmers and divers that do this. There's like a guy in a gorilla suit that this is whole like choreographed show that they do like every hour basically.
They have an arcade and shit too.
Yeah, it's so strange, and I am so excited about what Matt and Trey Parker are doing to it. Basically, they gutted the entire inside, redid the entire like structure of it. They found according to like, so they did this whole reveal at the 25th anniversary show. They performed 2 nights at Red Rocks over the past in 2022, and they did like a intermission where they showed a video on the backstage screen about basically the stage, like the progress that they've made, and so they've. I think there's probably going to be a documentary series, not series, but like a documentary about the redoing and the history of it. But they basically bought it, right? They had to get the governor to sign off on it
because it was going bankrupt, right?
Well,
that was the problem.
So
they were closing during COVID.
Yeah, they were having a lot of issues. Without going into many details of why that would be, they were going through a lot of financial woes, especially, and then COVID was like the final nail in the coffin. And the place is falling apart, and they didn't have enough overhead to basically pay for maintenance of it. It had been deemed a historical landmark a few years earlier, which is hilarious and amazing at the same time. So if you have a new ownership group that comes in and buys it, my understanding is that you have to have the governor to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Or like local government, to sign off on the switch hands of historical landmark ownership. So they did, of course, right? Amazing guys coming in, tons of money. They think it's just going to be like a new paint job. They start tearing down drywall, and they realize, oh, fuck, this is going to be way more money, way more time, way more effort to get this thing back to where it needs to be. The whole entire roof need to be replaced. So there's like millions of dollars. Like, and if there's anybody that could do it, that could actually save the glory of this place, it's these guys, right?
Yeah, because a normal investor would have taken a look at it and been like, no way, right? Because we're not going to make any money on this. It may take 30 years, 40 years before we make any money on it. They owe the people.
Yeah.
They owe, like, what did they make $1 billion off of their
basically
their last specials with Paramount and whatnot?
Yeah,
off of that one Casa Bonita episode, I'm sure they have made millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Whether it was through people just becoming more of a fan of South Park or people streaming that episode and getting commercial revenue off of it.
Yeah.
They owe the people. They don't need to make money off of that place.
No.
They owe the people a place where they can go and have a great experience, and they put millions of dollars into it and aren't expecting anything back.
I subscribe to that. I honestly do, because I agree with you that there is a certain amount of like equity of South Park that grew based not that episode alone, but it is one of the more popular episodes. I think even like when I was digging through South Park aggressively, which like I highly recommend anybody do, because it's a brilliant show and it pushes the limit of comedy. But like they did a whole series. It was like the best Cartman episodes, and like that's one of them. And like Super Fun Time was another one of them. And so there's like specific episodes. If you're a South Park fan, or even just a mild fan, those are the episodes you talk about. Those are the episodes that you bring up as like some of the GOATs. And yeah, I think it's an amazing thing that what they've done, not only for like Colorado, but in the community, but like just for Casa Bonita's legacy. Is just like it breathed new life into it, and now I think they hired an amazing chef entrepreneur, like a local chef that is just amazing, because that was one of the big criticisms of my only criticism really of Casa Bonita, was because I loved everything about it, was the food. And so if you fix that, you fix Casa Bonita, in my opinion. Obviously not, right? They go in, they say this building needs to be like fucking condemned, basically. Yeah. We need to rebuild the bones of it. So yeah, they said that at the show. They were like, oh my God, we're in for this way more than we thought we were. This is one of the worst investments we've ever made. But like, I think it's going to pay. It's going to, in the long run, it's going to pay off, because and I equate it to something like Meow Wolf in Denver, to be like a tourist destination now. Like it has renewed energy and interest that a lot of people are going to go there when they come to Colorado, just to go there, because now it has like the brand equity attached to it. It has an amazing chef. It has an amazing ownership group. And it now has true ties to what made it so popular. Not only just the quirkiness of it, but the South Park legacy of it.
Well, I think also there's, to them, it's the investment's also worth it, because like, I feel like as creative people, like they created South Park, right? And I'm sure at the beginning it was like they wanted to make money, they wanted the show to keep going on, and then it did. And to now be able to take this place and make it their own, I feel like it doesn't need to be an investment to them, like a monetary investment to them. It's like they've created something that people will love, and it's like not everything we pay for, buy, or do in life is based on whether we're going to get something out of it.
Right.
Well,
That's
whether we're going to get
thing.
money out of it, it may be that we're going to get pleasure out of it. They may get what they get out of it is the pleasure of people coming and going to that place.
Yeah. And especially since, I don't know about Matt, but I think it's Trey Parker. That's the one that's Matt Stone and Trey Parker is their names. One of them's from Colorado, if not both. He actually grew up in Littleton. And so
Not South Park.
yeah, right. A lot of people don't know South Park
It's a real place.
is a real place. There's actually
I've heard it's a shithole though.
well, so there's two places. There's actually like in Littleton, there's actually a suburb called South Park.
Oh, I didn't know.
But in the mountains, there's actually a region of which South Park is actually based on.
Right.
But anyway, so like,
which makes sense, right? In the show, they're literally in the mountains.
yes,
There's like one
Snow
little
everywhere.
tiny street. Yeah,
Always.
snow everywhere.
Yeah.
They're always in jackets.
Yeah.
They got their beanies. There's a tiny street with a couple businesses on it, and that's it.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's got to feel good. I know spending millions of dollars isn't like obviously ideal for them, but like to be able to own it and give that back and be a part of your community, to be like one of the people who grew up as like middle lower class, suburbia kid with like no dreams, fucking off, doing whatever.
Right.
Completely make a whole thing for yourself. Now you're like a millionaire, and to come back and really do something super impactful and like beneficial to your community at no like to your point, kickback, right? It may make money eventually, but
And it'll make
it's a
money.
beautiful thing.
It'll
It's a
make
beautiful
money
thing.
for the people who are working there and
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
The
I mean,
chef's gonna make money.
exactly.
The servers and shit.
Yes.
They're helping the economy in that area.
Yeah. I just I'm excited about it. I'm hyped about it. I can't wait, and I hope the lines aren't too long to be able to go when they open, because I'm super stoked to see what it looks like. I imagine it's gonna be just like around the block, like 5 times over, just to get in during the first like year of it opening.
Well, your boy has an Instagram. Maybe he'll get us some connections.
I highly doubt they need any help. I highly doubt they need any help.
I hope they do.
But yeah, I hope they do too. I honestly do. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be
So it's supposed to be. There's an unofficial event on Facebook saying that it's May 23rd, but it hasn't been announced as of March 10th. So maybe May 23rd. We'll see. It's received over 10,000 respondents.
Well, I'm gonna hold that date. On my calendar. I'm not gonna book anything that entire week.
The entire month.
Yeah.
Just wait. You just go there every day. You're like, is it open?
Yeah. Be first in line, baby.
It'll be like my neighbor Felix They opened one of those on the highway on I-25, and it was opening forever, and it finally opened, right?
It finally opened.
That place is really good, by the way. If you're ever in Denver, and
It's okay.
And they have good Mexican vegetarian food.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about their chicken and beef.
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe for sure.
Vibe.
But yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited. We'll see what happens, what it looks like. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of press surrounding it. I'm sure, if they were smart, they documented the entire thing, and they should put it out as like a documentary. I think that'd be really cool. I could see that being a thing like on Paramount Plus or something.
Oh shit, we should go on the first day just to be in the documentary.
Well, I want to like, I'm sure Matt and Trey Parker are going to be there. Yeah.
They're going to cut their ribbon?
Well, yeah, wouldn't you?
Oh my god, I'm going like 3 days.
You're gonna camp out like Black Friday.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's people like, there are weird people. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people there a week before it opens. Once they announce the opening, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. It reminds me of when I was in New York City, and I walked past the SNL building.
Yeah,
and there's a line. There was like people camped out on the sidewalk to get in.
And what time was this?
This was on Thursday.
On Thursday?
Thursday night. Yeah.
For Saturday?
For Saturday. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, like it's kind of a cool thing to say that you've been an audience member.
Not for Thursday.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, "Oh man, how'd you get in?"
Yeah.
"Oh, I went on Thursday."
Yeah.
And
well,
then
that's what it takes.
And then they're automatically like, it was cool that you went, but it's no longer cool.
Yeah. There's a whole podcast just on waiting in line.
No.
Yeah. When I was there, it's a thing. It's like a whole institution of its own now, waiting in line to be on SNL. And when I walked by, I was like,
on it.
I was like, oh, are these homeless people? Like, I was like, oh my God.
Did you actually think that?
Well, yeah, because it was just people like sleeping with sleeping bags and chairs and things. And it was really, really fucking cold when I was there. And at the beginning of the line, I walked past it and there's a big sign. It looked like handmade, but it was like, this is the SNL line. To learn more about it, join us on the SNL line podcast. And I was like, this is a whole thing. There's like a whole,
what?
There's a whole following an audience around just getting into the audience of the taping of SNL. And yeah, they have a podcast of like tips and tricks and like how to do it and like the experience and like the culture around it. It's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. It's called, they have snlstandbyline.com.
Yeah.
And it's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's the Saturday Night Live standby line.
Yeah.
And it's two standby regulars.
Yeah. It's just standby regulars.
What does that mean? Like, do you have jobs?
Hey, boss, I need off for Saturday and Friday and most likely Thursday every week.
Potentially Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, depends who's going to be on. Elon Musk? 2 Saturdays
has
before.
Has he hosted it?
Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did like last season, I think it was.
Did he?
Yeah, he
before he like decided to buy Twitter and completely.
Way
now
before
everybody
that.
hates him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He that was when he said that he was the first host, the first person to host SNL with Asperger's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was how everybody learned that.
How did he verify that? There's probably a couple people that don't want anybody to know.
So
right?
there actually was someone before him.
Oh, really?
I can't remember who it was, but yeah, someone did fact check it.
Yeah,
Which that was funny.
Slow down.
Because I wonder if he actually asked anyone before he said that.
He was just like, I'm just assuming.
And also, isn't Asperger's isn't that like a spectrum, kind of like autism?
I think it's like adjacent to autism.
Right. So there's no, you don't take a test and they're like, you have Asperger's. It's like based on certain ways that you act, they say that you have Asperger's.
Isn't it like a clinical diagnosis or?
Sure.
Yeah. where I don't know the specific, but I'm assuming that's how autism works too.
Right. Could you technically have be diagnosed with Asperger's and not actually have it?
I suppose so, right? Just like
What if
anything that's
he's
like
just weird.
Victim. Just wants to be a victim. I highly doubt it. I mean, he's not shy of having an ego, right? So why would he want that on him? Unless he's like got some weird end game that he's trying to pull. What? I mean, what could you assume? You would say for attention, sympathy?
So someone with Asperger's syndrome exhibits poor social interactions, obsessions, odd speech patterns, limited facial expressions, and other peculiar mannerisms. I think that pretty much sums him up.
Yeah, I think if you've heard him or watched him talk, that's basically it.
Going back to South Park, didn't Stan have Asperger's?
Somebody did because Cartman actually took that and ran with it, and he's like, I have Asperger's,
and then he burgers.
He was like wiping his ass with burgers, and people were loving it. They thought it was like really tasty, and he was selling them like on a lemonade stand.
Oh, it's so nasty. Yeah, and the way that they portrayed it was that you pretty much hate everything, right?
South Park.
Yeah,
I don't remember the episode. Basically,
it was basically like he started all the things he thought were funny before, like fart noises and stuff. Yeah. Everything he thought just became like fart noises, basically. Yeah. And he kind of like hated everything, which doesn't sound like what Asperger's is.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Isn't that when his dad was like secretly Lord?
I don't know if that was the same episode.
Lordy. Yeah, because he would play the song. Oh, no. You know what I'm thinking is they, adults started to hear like new music and it all sounded like shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Yeah, and then he like made
and he's
music.
Like 12 or no, what? He's like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he starts hearing the shit.
Yeah. I think it's just called cynicism.
It's just, right. But can you help it?
No.
It's like, can you help being an asshole?
Yeah. Is there a syndrome like asshole syndrome where I just can't help it?
No. Someone brought this up. I remember listening to a radio show. I think this was like in high school, and someone had called into the radio show and was like, "My brother-in-law or something has this syndrome, whatever it was. Yeah, it may have been. I don't know.
Yeah,
right." And the radio host was like, they're just an asshole. Like, that's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? There's no, like, you can put a syndrome on it, but it doesn't make that, like, you shouldn't feel sympathetic for that person if they're just an asshole.
Right.
Should you feel sympathetic for someone who has an actual mental issue, right? There's something fucked up in their brain, like, that can be diagnosed based on certain levels not being correct, and it makes them a bad person, like a mean, like someone who's bipolar, for instance. That's a great example. So someone who's bipolar, they can't help it, right? They can't help when they have the mood swings and the highs and the lows because something's chemically imbalanced in their brain.
Yeah.
Can you just call them an asshole? Like, can you think badly on them, or do you have to feel sympathetic for them?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it obviously depends on what it is, and I think it all has to do with the expectation or the understanding that the person who is exhibiting that behavior is trying not to, in good faith. Yeah, because if you just continue on with that behavior without trying to do something about it, that just seems kind of, and obviously, like in the example of like bipolar, the solution would be to basically go to therapy
and take certain medications.
Yeah,
right. If there is a medication that will help your symptoms, so if you're someone like Kanye West, right? where we know Kanye can be normal, right?
Can we? Do we?
There have been periods where he has been normal, right?
All right. I don't know.
And then he says he
know
stops taking his medication all of a sudden,
Uh-huh.
and then he's this psychotic,
anti-Semite.
idiot. Yeah. So, yeah, we can feel bad for him. He's got issues, but he could also mitigate those issues by taking medication or doing whatever he was doing before he became crazy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard subject. Because I don't know much about it, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But I imagine you have to be willing to help yourself, and have the discipline to be able to mitigate those things to the best of your ability. If it's something like cerebral palsy, like obviously, like there's nothing to be done about like the fact that you have poor motor skills at that point and you can't control, the muscle spasms and stuff. Like I'm not going to like, but like there's a difference between that and like me coming over with cerebral palsy and like punching the shit out of you and be like, it's my cerebral palsy. I'm sorry.
Right. So now, okay. So opinion right now, Kanye, as we know it, making assumptions that he could be taking medication and he wouldn't
Going
be
to
having
therapy.
Doing these things, and he wouldn't be having these outbursts.
Yes.
Thinking that the Nazis were the best and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Is he an asshole?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making those assumptions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what if in his mind when he is doing those things, he fucking hates his life. Like he can't stand it. He can't stand going to therapy. He just can't stand taking the medication. Like life is so much better for him when he's not doing those things.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting idea to explore because I think in his instance, this is weird. I haven't thought deeply about this idea because you could say it often can come off as an excuse for bad behavior, and you want to just basically blame that. And however much you truly believe or not, like if Kanye actually does believe that he can't help himself, like he may actually have that understanding with himself, like, well, I can't help I'm an asshole. It's not my fault then. I feel like that's like, what's another example to help kind of flesh this idea out? It would be like,
well, how about, so another way we can apply this to a much larger scale, other than like a famous person, would be a lot of homeless people have medical conditions that make it so that they can't work, so that they can't be around other people. They can't socialize properly, and they don't have someone in their life to help them, to get them to go to the doctor or to get them to keep taking their pills or whatever, right? Like Kanye is rich. He has people around him that love him, that could help him. I'm not saying that helps his situation, but he's a much different example than the average Joe who might be working minimum wage, has something wrong with him where he can't, even work anymore. Mm-hmm. But he also doesn't know that he needs to go to a therapist or something, or can even afford it maybe. Right. Now you may look at that person like, why did you let it get to that point? Like it's your fault that you're in this position now. But it's like, or do we feel bad for him and say that, but I think your point is some people use that as an excuse. Some people will take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think
that they're just lazy or whatever.
I think you have to frame this whole argument under the fact that there are certain rules to society. There's a way to interact with people there as a collective global society now, and there's nuances each country and culture. There's a way about going about doing business, talking to people, growing up, having a family. They're all unspoken rules in some cases, and in some legit government law. And when you are a person who acts out against those unspoken rules, you sometimes can be labeled as like, to him, he may not think he's an asshole, but to us, we think he's an asshole. Now, I'm of the firm belief and understanding that if you want to be an asshole and you want to have an opinion, whatever that opinion is, I don't think you should be persecuted legally against those, unless it brings harm to other people, right? Now I'm going back to those unspoken cultural global rules of how you operate in a society, right? You break those rules, then culturally and socially, you get in trouble. It doesn't mean like you go to jail. It just means like people don't like you, people don't want to talk to you.
So get a
people don't want to
tattoo
do
in
business
Japan,
with you.
right?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just like I think you have to understand the rules of society in order to have this conversation correctly, because Kanye's rules are different than our rules. Kanye's way of thinking is different than our way of thinking. And so for me to like basically project my worldview on his worldview, I don't think is correct. I can have my own opinion of Kanye, and we can share our opinion about Kanye, and we can talk about it freely and have discussions about it and talk into a podcast and post that on YouTube. And the beautiful thing is we can't get in trouble legally for that. We may get in trouble socially. Maybe there's a group of neo-Nazis or Kanye sympathizers that are like, I don't want to ever listen to the Lucky Duck podcast
they somehow
anymore.
end up getting into power, and then
And the beauty of that is like that's their prerogative, right? That's like their decision, and but those are the rules socially that they operate under. I think it's just like to have this discussion, I think you need to have a firm understanding that not everybody's rules are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my definition of an asshole differs from Kanye's definition of an asshole, differs from the clinical definition of an clinical, therapist's definition of an asshole. I'm getting very meta about this, but like I think you really have to dive deep into that way of thinking to really navigate these waters effectively. And I think I have to think more deeply about this to have a more personal opinion, because I think that's all it's going to be. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here.
I think you're right, and I think we may need Elon Musk podcast in order to talk about it.
I think Elon needs a tweet about this. Elon, tweet us what you're thinking.
Also, we came up with a nickname for you. Let us know if you like it. Eloin Musket?
Yeah, Eloin
Let us
Musket.
know.
Muskrat.
Muskrat.
Yeah.
And also, you need to grow a rat tail.
Yeah. You need to get with the times and get that mullet rat tail growing. I want a strict V down the back of your neck.
That would be. He would just be wonderful at that point. I mean, I wouldn't think of him as white trash at all.
That hair transplant that you got, put it to use, buddy. Have you
Also,
seen that? Have you seen like before and after his hair? Yeah,
for sure. Let me know how you got that and how much it's going to cost me, because I will also get it.
Yeah, tweet at me, buddy. DM me with those
because
your
LeBron also got it, and so did Steve Carell and a lot of other people. I would like to know how to get your hair transplant. I don't want the one that I see online on fucking YouTube advertising to the poor people like me. I want Elon Musk transplant.
Yes, there you go. Well, you heard it here, folks. I mean, you heard it here first, folks. And if you are wanting to hear back from Elon, tweet at him on our behalf. The more people we have tweeting at Elon about getting this answer, the better. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, get all of our tasty drink recipes, images of the drinks, other people who are interested in that type of thing. please do. We're at the Lucky Duck. And then, of course, you can catch the original scripted series, Original Kin, on Spotify, the first episode. Check that out. Give us a 5-star rating across the board. If you're wanting to check out what Miles and Sarah are doing on Instagram, it's Adventuring Eyes and adventuringeyes.com for their blog. And until next time, Miles?
Please sign the petition to make OnlyFans give us an account. Adios.
Not the rippy dippy dude.